Hey, thank you so much for having me tonight. Good evening, everyone. Ability Path, it is so great to be here with you. I want to thank you for all the amazing work that you do. Advocating for children and adults and families is such noble work, in my opinion, is very underappreciated. And I just really enjoyed watching all the Instagram posts from the amazing human beings that you lift and support every day. I want to also congratulate Sharon on her award for achieving such great success at her job at Safeway. You are awesome, Sharon. Congratulations. You know, meaningful employment can be a life changer for an individual who has developmental differences. They just want the same things as everyone else: friends, love, respect, inclusion, the ability to self advocate, and a paycheck. When my son RJ was 3 years old, he was diagnosed with autism. We were told on that day all the things he would never do. We literally call that the never day. He would never speak, communicate, mainstream in school. What else did they say? Play team sports, say I love you in a meaningful manner. It was like you name it, we were told he would never do it. And man, to receive such a hopeless and bleak diagnosis for a 3-year-old, it just seemed extremely cruel and short-sighted. For someone to tell you what anyone can do or be when they're just 3 years old is extremely unfair. I mean, what a parent who is getting that diagnosis right then needs is a source of hope, a source of support and resources, and to be shown possibilities and to be told to never ever give up on their child. And I think that's one of the main reasons why as a family we chose to speak so openly and share our autism journey with everyone. We didn't really see other celebrities who we knew had kids with autism doing that at the time. And I understand that it's not for everyone to be so open about their personal lives, especially when it comes to the privacy of a child. But I think in the end, we really knew, in hindsight, we were really right, that if we used our platform wisely as a family, we could help others in a way that we didn't get help in 2000. As a rookie mom, trying to process the whole autism diagnosis, it was overwhelming. My husband, then an NFL quarterback, well, he did not have a playbook for autism. And so it was extra hard for him, and he was sort of steeped in denial about our son and his diagnosis. But to use another corny football analogy, we built a team around our son. Team RJ was in full effect. We fought hard for him because we refused to allow him to be deduced to a list of nevers. One of the other things that we were told he would never have was meaningful employment. So when RJ was about 15 or 16, we started to talk with him about what jobs he would like to do. And every day after high school, he would go and hang out at this local bird store. He loves birds, loves animals, loves birds especially, and he would hang out there so often that I got a little worried that the owner might think, what was this kid doing, or was he weird or whatever, was he a menace or a threat? So I went down there to talk to her. And it turns out she had a niece and nephew with autism, and she totally understood RJ, and she just got his energy, thank God. And she said she wanted to offer him a job, but she was worried that he might be offended when she asked him, if she asked him to clean up the bird poop. And of course, RJ screamed, "I love bird poop. I have no problem with that." But my husband wanted RJ to work at a local sandwich shop where he knew the owner and manager, and then he thought that there would be someone there to look out for him because we were concerned about him, being out in public, being around people without us there. And I was concerned about the lunch rush hour, and I could envision someone yelling at him to hurry up, and then I just was nervous about all that. Then my mom chimed in, and she said she wanted her grandson to be a model because he was fine, he was gorgeous. And so she just went ahead and called one of her modeling agent friends and quickly set up a photo shoot for him, which, by the way, he absolutely crushed. I mean, these photos were, unbelievable. And the photographer said he had a gift, that the camera captured the purity of his soul. Can you imagine? But he didn't really enjoy being touched and poked and prodded and fussed over like models have to get. And so we were kind of back to the drawing board. We were documenting all these job opportunities on our show For Pete's Sake, where I really wanted to show a family rallying around their son and supporting him with love and acceptance. For too long, there's been such little representation on TV and in the media in general of this beautiful, unique community. And I knew no one had ever seen a docuseries with a young black man with autism navigating the world. And so I'm so glad that we were able to do those shows. So as it turns out, one of the vice presidents of the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team was watching the show and reached out to us, and he asked us, does RJ really want a job? Because we think we might have something for him. A clubhouse attendant position. One of the star players at the Dodgers at the time had an older brother with Down syndrome, and the team just rallied around this young man. And just in general, as a team, they were just such a very compassionate ball club towards people with developmental differences, special needs, autism, so many things. And so down we went with RJ to Dodger Stadium, his mother and his father holding his hand, even though he was already taller than both of us. And after the manager, Dave Roberts, interviewed him, Jock Peterson, the player, immediately took him around and introduced him to everyone in the clubhouse. He got the job on the spot. It was a glorious moment. I could sob just thinking about it now, mommy tears. And now he's in his 6th season with the Dodgers and has a World Series ring that was presented to him just recently by all the players. Oh my goodness, amazing. I'm just so indebted to this ball club for hiring inclusively, and just that they understand the value of having a diverse workforce. RJ's job changed him. It made him feel more confident. It made him feel more comfortable in the world. It gave him value. It helped him to self-advocate. And most importantly, if he were here, he would say it gave him a paycheck. When RJ got the job, the first thing he said to me was, well, that's another thing that doctor got wrong, Mom. Check that off the list. Every time something special happens for him surrounding the Dodgers, when they introduce him on opening day, whatever it is, I'm always thanking the players for being so good to him. This is a kid who grew up virtually with no friends, and now he has a whole clubhouse full of big brothers that will always have his back. And they're always telling me that RJ is a gift to them. They thank me for him when they lose a game, or if things go bad, or if there's an issue. RJ's smile and energy lifts them up, which means the world to me. With support and opportunities, all individuals can achieve their potential and beyond. One of the things that I absolutely love about being an autism advocate is sharing our story and hearing the stories of others. Some of the best people that I've met in my life have been folks and families I've connected with during this 20-year autism journey. Our community is fierce and tenacious, and we can be hardcore sometimes, but we are compassionate and loving and generous. I wouldn't go so far as to say this disorder has been a blessing, but it sure has brought some pretty amazing people and opportunities into our lives. When we started our Hollyrod Foundation, we really just wanted to make sure that families with loved ones with autism felt heard and seen. And we also wanted to speak from experience. As RJ grew, the foundation grew. When RJ was verbally challenged as a little boy and had very little language, we lobbied Apple to donate their iPads. And this was something back then they hadn't even considered or really acknowledged the importance of technology for our communities. When RJ was in elementary school, we wrote a book that we're so proud of called My Brother Charlie, a children's book told from a sibling's point of view to help explain what autism was, because there was so much misinformation, and we wanted school kids to start erasing the stigma of autism. When RJ went to middle school, we wrote a book with RJ and his twin sister as co-authors called Same But Different: Teen Life on the Autism Express. Middle school was very, very difficult for RJ, as it can be for lots of kids with or without autism, and we wanted to document some of these struggles that he had to deal with and share stories about how autism can impact the entire family, especially his siblings. And now that RJ is a working man, and now we have many job programs and job fairs, and we connect with corporations to help them hire inclusively. And I want to get more kids like RJ, young people like RJ, employed. I'm very proud of an initiative that I'm the ambassador for now, a new initiative called Delivering Jobs, and I encourage everyone to look at deliveringjobs.org to help get jobs for young people with many different issues. What I love to say is that, I mean, if you hire our kids, sometimes they can be the best employee you will ever have. And it's so important to help people with special needs achieve their full potential. I want to thank you, Ability Path, for your years of support and advocacy. It's so inspirational to me. You know, there's nothing broken about RJ. I always say I wouldn't change RJ for the world. But what I would do, though, is change the world for him. I'd make this world a place that fought harder to understand people who process the world around them differently. And I would make this place be more patient and compassionate and kind. I would also continue to make the world a more inclusive place where lives are valued no matter what the developmental issue may be. Thank you so much for changing the world, Ability Path. And thank you so much for having me tonight. Mwah.